Leon and the Championship, Chapter 17, entitled Thnickering and Thuffering. Immediately following the potato clock, Immediately following the potato clock lab, PW and Lily Matisse rushed over to Leon. "Did you hear what Sparks said about spit?" PW exclaimed. "How it's an incredible energy source?" "Hold it," said Lily Matisse. "That's not what he said. All he said was spit helps the process along. It's those electrolyte thingies in the potatoes that power the clock." "I think Lily Matisse is right," said Leon. "Still," said PW, "without the right spit, Fathead will never become operational." "Hello, Earth to PW," said Lily Matisse. "Weren't you listening? We're still missing the battery that'll make the doll work." "Action figure," PW corrected irritably. The three argued about spit and spuds all the way through pickup. "Spit's the key," said PW. "No, the potato is," countered Lily Matisse. "Spit! Potato! Vital!" Out of nowhere, Lumpkin appeared. "I heard you thnickering," he said, clamping down on Leon's wrist. "I didn't snicker," said Leon. Lumpkin ignored the denial and tightened his grip. "Hey, knock it off," said Lily Matisse. "It's not his fault you clipped a potato to your tongue." "If Lumpkin thufferth, thith'll thufferth," Lumpkin said. He eyed a nearby brick wall. PW put two and two together. "Not the Howlitzer," he cried. Lumpkin's mouth stretched into a nasty grin, made all the more hideous by the flecks of caked blood. With his free hand, he grabbed Leon by the waist and prepared to hurl him against the side of the school. Leon braced himself. But moments before he was to be turned into a human crash test dummy, Mr. Groot, the shop teacher, emerged from the school. Lumpkin had no choice but to suspend the maneuver. Leon tried to wiggle free, only to discover that he was still being held by his underpants. He tried to protest, but protest was impossible. He tried to resist, but resistance was futile. 1, 2, fwee! And Leon felt a quick, sharp squeezing sensation as Lumpkin yanked upward on the waistband. Had it not been for the honk of the taxi horn, the attack might have continued. "Tell anyone, thith'll, anyone at all, and I'll really knock the stuffing out of you," Lumpkin threatened before he let go. "So," said Napoleon, "how is the mood of Monsieur Leon on this fine afternoon?" Leon refused to answer. He fiddled with his underwear and hugged his backpack like a shield. No number on the moodometer was low enough to measure post-wedgie gloom. Halfway to the hotel, Leon unzipped his pack and reached inside. He loosened the drawstring of the purple pouch and spent the remainder of the ride doing to Fathead what Lumpkin had done to him. Retaliation, however, failed to make him feel any better. He was still in a funk when the taxi reached the hotel. In fact, he barely grunted goodbye to Napoleon before dragging himself into the lobby. He trudged over to the reception desk where his mom was busy taping up a sign that said, "All sheep must wear diapers." Normally, a posting of that kind would have intrigued Leon. Not today. "You're looking as crummy as a bag of crushed potato chips," said Emma Zeisel. "Ha ha," Leon responded peevishly. Emma Zeisel ignored her son's mood. "Chore time, sweetie. Here's the new VIP list. After you've updated the signboard, there's a guest in 504 who needs to be walked. Once that's done, go find Maria." "Why?" Leon demanded testily. "Because, sourpuss, she's got something that'll cheer you up." Leon carried the wooden letterbox and VIP list into the lobby and rearranged the signboard to say, "Welcome, yous guys from Utah." He lined up the letters unenthusiastically before returning to the reception desk. He grabbed a thin, retractable leash off a hook near the key rack. "I'd go with something sturdier," Emazizel advised. "That guest in 504 is awfully rambunctious." "Geez," Leon snapped. "Can't I choose my own darn leash?" "Fine, be my guest," said Emazizel. "After all, everyone else here is." Leon rang the door chime of room 504. "Hold on," a man called out over the sound of bleating. The door opened. "You the fellow who will be walking Rambo?" asked the guest. "Yup," said Leon. "Well, howdy. Name's Roy. Rambo will surely be happy to see you. How are you around animals?" "Pretty good," said Leon. He figured Rambo couldn't be any tougher to handle than a spoiled toy poodle or a chimp in need of a diaper change. "We'll find out soon enough," said Roy. Leon noticed bits of plastic sprinkled over the carpeting. "Sorry about the shower curtain," said Roy as he turned to unlock the bathroom. "Rambo got a—" "Wow!" Leon exclaimed the moment his charge charged into the room. "That's one big sheep." "Rambo ain't no sheep," said Roy. "He's a pure-blood, prize-winning, pedigreed Welsh mountain ram." Rambo banged his pedigreed horns against the door. "And as you can see, he's hankering to stretch his legs." "I'll take him out straight away," said Leon. As he was clipping on the leash, he noticed Rambo wasn't wearing a diaper. "Rule or no rule," he said to himself, "there's no way I'm going anywhere near either end of this guest." Out in front of the hotel, Leon tried to convince Rambo to answer the call of nature as quickly as possible. Unfortunately for Leon, Rambo had other plans. The beast dragged him down the block and across the street to a tempting patch of weeds poking through some cement in front of the convention center. While Rambo snacked on sidewalk sprouts, Leon passed the time reading the convention center calendar. There was a sock congress coming up, followed by a day-long seminar on floor waxes, followed by the Mid-Atlantic Mattress Maker meeting, followed by a poster caught his attention. "Your chip has come in. Chipapalooza, March 12th. Leon couldn't believe his eyes. A snack food extravaganza was coming to town. He smiled at the thought of all those potato chip professionals filling the convention center. It was a safe bet a bunch of them would be staying at Trimore Towers. That meant his chip collection was sure to grow. Leon turned to a more pressing matter, getting Rambo to pee. He decided to try something Maria had told him worked wonders. He inched toward the front of the ram and covered its nostrils, keeping as far away from the horns as possible. Less than a minute later, the task complete, Leon began the tug-of-war back to the hotel. Each time he pulled one way, Rambo pulled the other. By the time the leash was back on the hook near the key rack, Leon had blisters on every finger of his left hand. He headed down to housekeeping. "Hey, Maria, the nose trick is great." "We do that with llamas all the time, Leonito." "Mom said you've got something for me? Did a guest leave behind a bag of Rhode Island chips?" Maria shook her head. "But maybe I have something for you just as good." She pulled a box from the broom closet. The words "fragile" and "breakable" were stenciled on the sides of the big block letters. "The new shipment from the Chip of the Month Club," Leon exclaimed. "See, it just arrived this morning." Leon tore open the package. "So, Leonito, any cheaps from the Rhode Islands?" "Nah, but there's a real nifty Wyoming I've been wanting." Leon took the chips to his room and spent the evening munching and cataloging, adding the names of new specimens to his checklist, slipping the empty bags into protective sleeves, pinning flags into his map of the world. "Not bad," Leon said to himself, surveying the markers. He decided, in the interest of science, to donate 2 unopened duplicates to Mr. Sparks. Preparing for bed, he was feeling pretty cheery. The mood didn't last. While changing into his pajamas, Leon discovered that the after-school wedgie had turned his shorts into longs. Worse still, the yanking motion had left a permanent mark that no quantity of poop-begone could remove. Leon decided to destroy the incriminating evidence. As soon as he was in his PJs, he crumpled the soiled underpants into a ball and tossed them down the hallway garbage chute. Back in bed, Leon tried to push Lumpkin from his thoughts. He couldn't. The curbside wedgie kept looping through his brain. It was as if every time he tried to hit the erase button, he accidentally hit replay instead. He worried that memories of the wedgie would be wedged in his head forever. Too bad they don't make something called Thoughts Be Gone, he told himself. Or better still, Bully Be Gone. Now there's a product worth inventing. Beep, beep, pump, pump. Leon jumped out of bed to see what was up, and moments later was on the phone to the reception desk. Mom, Rambo got loose, and he's grazing on the carpet across from our door. Thanks, sweetie. I'll handle it. Emma Zeisel soon arrived with Roy. Counting sheep is supposed to help folks fall asleep, not keep them awake, she scolded the guest. Rambo's not a sheep, Mom. He's a pure-blood, pedigreed Welsh mountain ram. And prize-winning, Roy noted. It doesn't matter what Rambo is, said Emma Zeisel sternly. My point is the same. I sure am sorry, ma'am, Roy said earnestly. The apology softened Emma Zeisel. No need to feel sheepish, she said. But we will have to bill you for the cost of this rampage. Wouldn't have it any other way, ma'am, said Roy. And please, Emma Zeisel added, keep Rambo properly diapered. Oh, I sure will, Roy promised. Emma Zeisel took a break from the desk and tucked her son into bed. She flicked off his lamp and gave him a hug, which she noted was returned more forcefully than usual. Leon felt okay as long as his mom was in the room, but once she left, his brain hit the replay button. Lumpkin's parting threat circled through his thoughts. Tell anyone, Zeisel, anyone at all, and I'll really knock the stuffing out of you. Leon groped about in the dark and found his backpack. He removed Fathead and gave him a squeeze. Oh, yeah, he said bitterly. Well, maybe I'll knock the stuffing out of you. All at once, Leon froze in place. His head cleared. His hands began to shake. And soon, he started to laugh. Eureka! He cried out in the dark. Eureka! 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 By the way, if you're wondering what Eureka means, it means, I have found it. I wonder what he found. I guess you'll have to wait